All right. So for question 20, we have let f of x equal 2x plus 1 cubed and let g be the inverse function of f. Given that f of 0 equals 1, what is the value of g prime of 1? Okay, so just a little bit of review. Remember, a function is an inverse if, well, I'm not going to write out, it's a lot, but basically if whenever I plug in that function for x, I get an output of x. So if I were to say, plug in, f of x, well, let me put it this way. If I were to plug in f of g of x, then I had 2 g of x plus 1, cubed, that should equal x. So it's going to be an inverse function if it equals x. So let's go ahead and figure out what is this inverse function here. So let me just go ahead and solve here. So I would have 2 g of x plus 1 cubed, and sorry, that would equal x. So I didn't do any extra steps, but anyway. So interestingly enough, I think the easiest way to go about doing this is to just derive both sides. I would not try to, how do I put this? I wouldn't try to solve this because you're going to end up with this cube here, and then we're going to end up with like, an x to the cube root, and I don't know, some weird things can happen. You never know. So let's just go ahead and derive both sides with respect to x. So I'm going to get the derivative of 2 g of x plus 1, whoops. Let's see here, g of x plus 1, and then 2 times all this here, right? And then take the derivative of the other side here. All right, so when I bring it over here, I'm going to have to use the chain rule. So I'm going to do the power rule first, and I will get 6 g of x plus 1 squared, and then I need to take the derivative of this inside here, so multiplied by g prime of x, and that's going to equal 1. So let's see here. Did that help at all? That's the important question. Well, yeah, I think it should have, unless I'm missing something here. Ah, okay, that's what it is. All right, so whenever I do this, we need to figure out, okay, what is g of x, right? Now I know that f of 0 equals 1, right? But if g is an inverse function, then it logically follows that g of 1 is equal to 0, right? So if I'm wondering what is g prime of 1, right? What is g prime of 1? Well, then all I have to do here is just plug in 1 for both of these values, right? So I'm going to get 6 times g of 1, which is 0, plus 1 squared times g prime of 1 equals 1. So whenever I do this, this is going to go to 0. No, I'm sorry. It's going to go to 1. It's going to go to 1, so technically we can just ignore it, right? So I'm going to have 6 times g prime of 1 equals 1, and then I will divide both sides by 6, and I will end up with g prime of 1 equals 1 divided by 6, and that is going to be answer choice D. So that one was, I don't know. I went through that one kind of quickly. I don't know if they just have you memorize a formula for this, but I think it's helpful to kind of think about it logically and then just use the fact that an inverse function, when you plug it into the initial function, will yield a value of x. So, just if you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and we can talk through some things if you need. But yeah, that's the correct answer. If you have any questions, obviously, I already said that. Okay, anyway, ending the video now, but I hope to see you in the next video.